Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 10 Forward Weekly. My name is Mike Fatum. I am your host, also known as Ambassador Kel. And I am joined this week by the lovely and talented, and their names are backwards, concept artist Hector Ortiz and lead ship and UI artist Thomas Moroni. Say
Hey.
hi, folks. How you guys doing today?
All doing great.
Doing good.
Yeah. Someone in chat
Body
asking for
switch.
a
Yeah, we got a little freaky Wednesday thing happen. Wacky Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, if you guys brain swapped, I'm not sure how much would be different. y'all are both seem like the kind of guys who would just wake up in the other's body and be like, "This will work itself out eventually. In the meantime, I'll go back to doing my job." Cool. Welcome everybody. As mentioned, we are here to announce some ships. But first of all, just a quick check-in with Hector because we haven't talked to you in a while, man. How have things been going? How's the life of a concept artist?
It's so far so good. It's I mean everything's all right. I'm welcoming the rain. Something that I don't need to sleep with a screensaver at least for 2 days. I put that like this noise machine, and it's always like noise sounds, But now I have light reels. It's raining at some point, yeah, but it's gone. Anyway,
someone in the chat is requesting cat content. Say hi, Silk.
There's always cat content.
They'll be back.
Yeah, they'll be
right
back.
now,
Silk is currently wondering if he can jump on my desk because he gets in trouble for that.
Yeah, so you're gonna have Thomas cat jumping.
Yep.
The cat was always
There's Lauren
over there.
over there.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, folks, we are going to dive into announcing these ships straight away. And I guess we better start that now. Do you want to do a drum roll? I don't know. I feel like there should be more circumstance to this. Wait, that's a Superman theme. I was about to do that for Star Trek. That was the wrong theme that bumped into my head.
I want to say that this is I think this is one of the ships in. Well, I don't know. I don't know if Mike will let me say this, but I guess I have to say now.
What were you gonna say?
No, that's fine. It's fine. People don't have to know. Maybe Mike will talk. I'll ask you later, and you can tell me if it's something I could have said. But we're excited.
If it's about the thing, I don't think we can talk about that.
No.
Okay.
No. It's not about that thing. It's about at one point the ships that we are going to talk about today. We're going to be part. One of the ships is going to be part of a big bundle of ships that we were going to release all at once, and we ended up splitting them up. But
okay.
We had an internal name for that bundle that maybe wasn't super polite. But
oh, I remember now. Wait until you see what I've named this ship. Anyway,
okay.
Here she is, ladies and gentlemen, the T6 Nova. Welcome to. Here comes the Nova. Welcome. All right, so Hector, here is your beautiful concept art up on the screen. You can't see it, but they can. Tell us a little bit about the process of taking this ugly ship and making it slightly prettier.
Well, come on. I don't know.
I'm sorry. No, your version is gorgeous.
No, it's just I don't know who did this ship. It's like, oh my god.
Rick Sternbach did the original Nova.
So the first thing, let me see. I'm looking at I'm looking at the side, but I'm looking at my other screen.
Got it.
At the Nova, so I can have a proper, objective opinion. So the thing is that the first thing I wanted to do was create the sense of direction that we try to apply to our every STO ship. Since these games are these ships are made for video games, they need a sense of direction. So that was the first thing I decided to do. Instead of having the ship looking like you have a saucer and you have a hole, hole and stuff like that, I decided to integrate everything. So it looks dirty and more directional to keep mentioning that word.
Yeah. So the Nova's kind of known for having a very strange saucer shape for Star Trek. Kind of that boxy look. What were your thoughts on sort of updating that to 2409?
Oh boy, we did a lot of sketches for that. I don't know. Maybe I'll publish them someday. So we tried to create something somewhat new, but we couldn't go that we couldn't steer so far from the shape. So we settled with something that was in between an arrowhead and a saucer,
Nice.
which is this guy right here. And we decided to eliminate the prongs on the front. We cut them, but we left the dark space in between just to give the illusion of prongs, but without the prongs being actually there.
Yeah.
So it's similar, but it's also new. Uh, that was pretty much it. That was pretty much. It's more streamlining. It's more like the ship it's exploding from the back to the front.
Yeah.
If you see the graphic,
I like that.
it's like
All right, I'm gonna come over here and take a closer look at the ship on the screen. So now you can see what I'm doing here, Hector. So this is what you were talking about up front here, with the protrusions have been kind of cut off. We left that black space in the middle. Thomas, was this you, or was this one of our lovely outsourced people?
Tobias Richter modeled this for us.
Okay, cool. So what can either of you folks tell us? There we go. It's a little bit more visible about this lovely starship. What sort of fun details should we be looking for?
so.
Well, I think it's got a really nice secondary deflector on the top there, and then if you go on the bottom, there's also another,
Yeah.
the main deflector beneath, just like the Nova. And then there's a cool feature on some science cans on the bottom of the hull. You might have to tilt up
I'll
for
tilt
it to
back
catch
up, hold on.
sunlight.
Whoops, other way.
Yeah,
There we
those
go. Science
little
cans.
science cans. Those were a
Yes.
cool feature that Hector had in the concept. The Nova is a planetary science vessel, so these are, we see these as big like sensors, or maybe they're little like satellites that can deploy and then return to the ship or something. They don't really do anything gameplay wise, but that's okay. It's okay to have details that imply function beyond the gameplay that you have, because Star Trek ships, Federation ships specifically, have a lot of functions beyond just blowing things up.
And beyond
Yeah.
just what we see in the show, there's greeblies
Right.
all over those things. So what do the science cans do, Thomas? You have 30 seconds to come up with new lore. Go.
I think they are detachable satellites that help survey planets quickly. They'll detach and float in a polar orbit, collect data, surface map the whole planet, and then reattach to the rest of the ship.
Nice. I like this is kind of our typical 2409 nacelle shape, right, Hector? This is kind of what we go for, the sort of more streamlining.
So what was that? You just got cut.
Oh, no worries. The nacelles, the kind of a little bit more streamliney and pointy. That's kind of our 2409 aesthetic, right?
That's right. That's a big wedge, taper on the sides. So it looks when I do nacelles like this, I try them to look like nacelles, but also like wings almost.
Oh yeah.
So
see
you
that.
can see them as wings if you want something like that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of ships in Star Trek, even the ones that aren't specifically called birds of prey, kind of look like birds in flight, which is really nice.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's very much it's extremely aeronautical.
Yeah.
So even at the bottom, the deflector, the lower deflector area. I think it was Thomas, right? That was you, the idea of making that zone like you can actually remove the whole section and put something back in the saucer. I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember that. I mean, we did that. That was something we did with the Clark, the T6 Malachowski, because it had to customize with other areas.
That's right.
But I think you did pull some of that in here into this one too.
It was a continuation of that, so it looks like you can exchange parts, so it looks more functional for any purpose necessary for the mission.
That's super neat. So Thomas, is this a new material on this guy, or is this? I know
This
there's
is
some
the
material updates.
Yeah, this is the Type 7A. This is the material that's going out with all the the remasters of our Tier 6 ship. The Guardian is about to get this material. We put it out with the about 10 ships when we launched Reflections, and it's going to be kind of going forward. This will be the default material for new Tier 6 Starfleet ships from the 25th century.
At least until another 5-10 years down the line when
Right.
Thomas changes it again.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yep.
Well, that is a gorgeous ship, gentlemen. What's this little thing? I'm curious. Is that a mission pod? That's a mission pod, isn't it?
That's the bridge.
Oh, that's the bridge. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think that's a detail that came from the previous version. Yeah, yes,
Mhm.
it is. Yeah, it's a.
Well, as you folks may have noticed, we don't have Jeremy because he's on a well-deserved vacation. Although he's not actually vacating, he's moving house. So
Oh,
I'll throw some shield requests up if you all have any. But first, let's take a look at the trait and the console. So the console is nucleogenic igniter. This one actually sounds really fun to me. So what happens with this? I just read the description earlier. You fire out a pulse from your ship. That pulse disables enemy ships, but the enemy ships that are disabled by that will then start pulsing out a healing AoE that heals your allies who fly close to enemy ships. So it's a really, really neat concept.
Yeah, this is inspired by the nucleogenic aliens that the Equinox captured in the Voyager episode Equinox.
Yeah.
And Ian Richards made the effects for these, and they're super cool. It's little particle streams that, go to an enemy ship and then steal energy and disable them and come back to you and heal you, and give you buffs and stuff. And it's a really cool effect.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward for people to checking that out.
Yeah. I'll see if I can spawn somebody so I can fire it off. But the trait is synthetic good fortune. Let's see. It gives you when pilot and control abilities grant control expertise and crit chance. Oh, yeah, okay, so this is the one. So when you activate a pilot or a control ability, you get a very, very small boost to your critical chance, but it lasts for a very long time, and it will stack up to 40 times. So
wow.
You can keep just hitting that and stacking it and stacking it and stacking it. So, yeah. Let's see. I will also show y'all the stations. We've got... let's see. Commander Tactical Intelligence. Commander Tactical Pilot. Wait, actually. Oh, sorry, I'm wrong. Lieutenant Commander Intelligence. Lieutenant Commander Pilot. Lieutenant Universal. Ensign Universal. And Commander Science / Pilot. Oh, these are both Universal, sorry. My bridge officers are tactical. Sorry, let me say that again. Lieutenant Commander Universal, Lieutenant Commander Universal, Lieutenant Universal, Ensign Universal, Commander Science Pilot. So there you go. Enjoy.
Nice.
Yeah. Let me see really quick if I can spawn an enemy ship so I can show you guys the console, since it is a really cool effect from what I've told.
If you're on Earth, that might not work.
I'm not. I'm on the map we made for the cutscenes, the ship cutscenes.
Oh, okay, cool.
What am I doing? Hey, did y'all know that if you spawn the mutant Herc from that one episode where it chases you through the labyrinth on a map that isn't that map, it becomes an invisible, untargetable, unkillable monster? I found that out.
So we went Lovecraftian right away.
Test ship.
How do you deal with something like that? You just close the server?
I had to go EC-1 destroy. We weren't actually sure if it would just hurt everything on the... if it would kill all the players. Thankfully it didn't. Otherwise we would have probably had to reset the server or something. It is not letting me fire it off for some reason. Maybe I'm too close. That's happened to me before.
Go into red alert.
Oh.
Like maybe medium.
Yep, there it is. There it is. All right, here we go. Let me zoom out a little bit. So yeah, there's the nucleogenic radiation hitting it, and then as your allies get closer, they'll get healed. I haven't taken any damage, so it's hard to see, but...
You can do EC-me, set health PCT to... There you go.
There we go.
Yeah. And now lore-wise, these are not meant to be those creatures. This is just like nucleogenic radiation that our ship is controlling. So it's not a war crimes gun.
I see Thomas is looking at chat.
Yep.
We've got enough war crimes guns in the game already.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Cthulhu, yes, you should judge me, but the reason that's an Appalachia in the image I made of the improved destruction effects is because that was the ship that I had equipped at the time. All right. Does anybody have any requests for shields quickly before I move along? I will, of course, go to the ones that y'all always suggest, like the Section 31.
Whoa.
Looks nice. Ooh, look at that.
That shit always, man.
Always looks nice. Throw a Zenkethi on there. Interesting.
I think that's Riemann.
Oh, was that Riemann?
Yeah, I think so.
That was Riemann. You're right. Good call. Let's see what the Alliance looks like. Never a huge change for Federation ships, but I like this. This is a good... If you, like me, want to roleplay your character joining the Alliance, that's a good way to do it. All right, let's get the Titans on there. As always, looks gorgeous. All right, I don't think I have the... Whoa, no, come back, ship.
Bye-bye.
I don't think I have the Baul shield on here, unfortunately. But I will throw on... Oh, not having enough room on the screen is a pain. I have to do a smaller screen so I can see chat, and it just is a pain. Anyway, drag that over there. Great. Okay, I'll take one more request. 32nd century. I don't think I have that one. Sorry. No, I don't. Let's see. Lucari, you got it. Was that the Lucari shield? That is the Lucari shield. It's less glowy and more... Oh, it is more glowy in real life, but I've never seen it add the green and purple before. That's neat.
Yeah, that's right.
Looks really cool, though. All right. Well, I suppose we could show everybody the other ship then while we're here. Hector, as I mentioned before, you're welcome to hang out if you'd like.
I wanna see the other ship.
Good.
I haven't seen it.
What? Oh no. Oh. It's all one word. Nope. Okay. Oh, that's right. I can't do crew assignments on here because I don't have the Access level for it. So...
So this ship, can I say who designed it? I guess to sort of kick off the conversation.
Yeah, sure. Why don't you tell us who designed this ship while I go?
Yeah, so Eric Henry, he's an outsourcer we work with pretty regularly. He's done a few ships. He did the Appalachia, he did the Columbia, and some other stuff for us. And he did the T6, the STO version of the Discovery Bird of Prey. So Eric's a really cool guy. He has a really big YouTube channel.
Yeah, his YouTube channel is awesome.
Yeah, where he redesigns and remodels Star Wars ships, and then he's done a lot of really cool stuff. And so Eric did this one. I almost said what it was. Oh no.
Wah, wah.
That always happens, but only on stream. Yeah. Oh, and I didn't enter my password because I'm so used to the other one. Just a moment.
Eric has a cool. Eric has a cool style that I like a lot, and he also thinks a lot about function and adds a lot of little Easter eggs in his ships that are inspired by real world ships and airplanes and things like that.
He's just got a really good eye for design. Like, man can take a blur in the background of an image and turn it into a gorgeous ship.
Yeah, his Star Wars recreation videos of the background ships in Return of the Jedi are really cool. He also did an Imperial version of the Nebulan B frigate, which I thought was really awesome.
Yeah. All right, everybody, close your eyes. Oh, let's go back. No. Oh, hell. I forgot the name of the map. Gen System, there we go. Now, here's something that's interesting. Obviously, first of all, obviously, this is the new Tier 6 Saber. It is so pretty. This is one of my favorite Tier 6 ships that we've done. Oh, I'm backing up. I was like, why is the dummy flying over to me? It's absolutely gorgeous. But I also love show game UI 0. Yeah, I totally forgot what I was going to say, so never mind. I do have a question for you, Thomas. Folks in chat are asking why ship Vanity Shields and new materials don't affect nacelle color. I assume those are two different systems?
No, well, so they will on this ship. It really depends on how the ship is built. So some ships we build transparent, and sort of depends on the concept too. Some ships we build in greebles and interior workings for the nacelles so that you can see inside a little bit, and then we put a transparent casing over them that has like a animated material, scrolling material on it to emulate what you saw in Star Trek First Contact on the Enterprise E. So there's some ships that use that, and the reason that Vanity Shields don't work on those ships is because they are the nacelle, the bustard collector is a separate piece of geo. It's a separate material that doesn't work with the that isn't getting replaced by the Vanity Shield colors, and then some. If a ship isn't built that way, then it will, the bustard colors will change. So the Equinox was built that way because it had nice big buster collectors, and you can kind of see inside them, and you get that really nice scrolling effect. But the Davinci has smaller buster collectors, so these will be changed by the Vanity Shields, and it's a really per ship thing in terms of how you want to execute it.
Lord Leopold, I will unlikely have any updates for PvP about you for the next several weeks, as that's a long discussion. You'll hear about it when you hear about it, but I cannot give you any more than that. That was the thing that I was going to mention. Thank you for reminding me, Thomas. The name of the ship is the Davinci, which I think is a really cool name. And somebody guessed it on Reddit. Now, we don't know if that was actually secretly a developer who didn't tell us their account, but somebody straight up was like, yeah, it's going to be called the Davinci. And we were all like, how did they know?
Leaks. It's yeah, so it's named after a Saber class starship in a series of novels and short stories called the Starfleet Corps of Engineers. The hero ship for that series was the USS Davinci, which was a Saber class ship. The other Saber class ship we could have named this class after was the USS Jaeger, but we already had a Jaeger class thanks to Star Trek Discovery, so we couldn't do that. So it kind of made us look elsewhere instead of picking another random sword, which we also used a lot on Romulan ships, the scimitar variants. I decided it would be fun to throw a little tribute out to the Starfleet Corps of Engineer books.
So when you said to me that no one could have guessed the Davinci name, you didn't say to me it's based off a series of books and novels and is very obscure. Of course people guessed that, Thomas. Have you met our fans?
I don't think people could have guessed it without a certain amount of context. Nobody was going to randomly, if they maybe guessed it if they had known that a T6 Saber was coming and maybe guessed, maybe it could be called the Davinci. But this person didn't know that. This is before today, obviously, so it's before we announced this ship. So I don't know. I still think somebody was data mining or something. I don't see anybody could have randomly pulled that out of their butt.
Well, I think they figured out the Saber and the Nova were coming from the remasters of those that came out a few weeks ago. So.
Yeah, we do want to mention that too. We mentioned the Nova got remastered a little bit, but the Saber's also been remastered with this update, which I'm really excited about. And that was another outsourcing house that did that for us. I think they did a really good job, and it's good to get these canon ships that have been kind of the same for years, finally get them polished up.
I'm being told, Thomas, that both of these ships were in the Mirror Critter group on Tribble, so that's how they knew they were coming.
No, this was before that, though.
Oh, okay.
This thing happened before that. But yeah, we did add them to the Mirror Critter group, and it kind of played out how I
expected.
Okay, sorry, I just got an email. Kind of played out how I expected, where people noticed them in the Terran Critter group and got excited about them, and I'm, sometimes it's good to just organically let stuff happen like that.
Agreed. Let's see. All right. Well, tell us a little bit about. I know this was Eric who did this, but tell us a little bit more about the design of this ship and how it was updated from the Saber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Eric's kind of he kind of came up with some lore for it that I thought was interesting, in that he thought maybe
Sorry, hold on
for
one second. Jorge L. Nieves, I read Facebook comments. Please continue, Thomas.
Okay. He was kind of playing off the, how we've started to have the Allied Cooperative Starship Development Board, where Klingons and Romulans and the Dominion and the Federation are all sort of pooling their resources and building more ships together. And so his thinking about this ship was maybe it was actually a ship done in cooperation with Cardassians, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Oh, cool.
A Starfleet ship with, that had like a Cardassian designer on board. And, you could see the timeline of STO is such that Cardassians who were children during the Dominion War are going to be in leadership positions. Anyone who was a child in the Dominion War, given a normal human lifespan, that was like 30 or 40 years ago, right? So they're going to be the admirals and the leaders and the captains in these militaries now. And so you could have a Cardassian refugee who ended up coming into Starfleet and working at Starfleet shipyards, and then putting some of their own like Cardassian spin on a Starfleet aesthetic, which I thought was a pretty interesting take on it. And maybe there was some controversy about that too.
That sounds like a fun fiction blog that I wish we had time to write.
Yeah, right. Never enough time. I'm hoping. I would love someday for Eric to do some videos about the ships that he's designed for us, and have him go more into detail with that. So maybe someday, who knows? His other stuff is really cool, though. I do recommend people check him out.
Yeah.
But it's people mentioned the horseshoe crab, which I always think is a cool like template for a spaceship, and I think it works really well for the Saber.
Yeah. Ryan Haberek was asking about whether we were going to acknowledge the Litverse and their big Coda event that's ending the book universe of Star Trek. Unfortunately, that just didn't end up in the schedule for us to do anything for that. But they were really awesome and put an STO character in the latest book in the Coda trilogy. So if you get that book, keep an eye out. There is a STO cameo in it because the author's a fan, and we may have him on the stream sometime soon.
That would be really cool for him to to work with us.
Yeah. Somebody was asking Thomas about the mirror skin update. It's not really what we're doing here, but that's okay. They're asking why the decision went to make all the mirror ships red now instead of yellow. I assume it's an aesthetics thing.
Yeah, it was an aesthetics thing. It was essentially, okay, we're 30 or 40 years after TNG, theoretically the Terran Empire could have changed their mind about what they wanted to do, and there were some artists on the team who really didn't like the yellow, and they sort of persuaded the art lead to go in that direction of red, and so that's just sort of where we're doing it. If we are specifically trying to recreate something from IDW or the comics or shows, then obviously we'll recreate the yellow version. But any STO era mirror ship is going to be red.
Just gonna go behind so y'all can see what you'll be looking at. This might be a ship I need to pick up. This is really pretty. Let's see. Cool. All right. Well, let's go through. Helps if I show the game UI. Let's go through the stats on this guy and talk about that a little bit. So here's the layout y'all can see. It's got a new experimental weapon, which is the Gatling emitter. It takes a couple of seconds to spin up and then does a bunch of damage really fast. 4 times per second to foe until it's no longer a valid target. So not going to be super great for your ISE builds where all of your characters or all of your friends destroy everything before 3 seconds are up, but could be fun for other things. Let's see. We also have...
that's another thing Ian Richards worked on, and the effects for that is super cool, too.
We'll take
it's
this
definitely...
I actually kitted out this ship, so we'll take it into combat
nice.
and see.
Saber goes brr.
And then Energy Overdrive gives you 100% flight speed and turn rate if you hit Beam Fire at Will, Beam Overlord, and Beam Overload, and exceed firing limits. So if it does the A10 brr, I will buy 50, Christopher Odin says. I agree. All right, here are the stations. We've got Lieutenant Universal, Commander Tactical / Miracle Worker, Lieutenant Commander Tactical, Lieutenant Commander Engineering, and Ensign Science. Apparently I am the Beam Overlord now, according to Trexpert. Great. I only use cannons, though. How am I the Beam Overlord?
So I want to say something. Like, I don't know if this really translated into the final systems design, but one of the things we were thinking about when we started working on the ship was that... There you go.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to have to move out of combat and stop that noise, though.
Oh, wow.
That's so loud. Hold on.
Look at that.
There we go. Okay. I've realized test dummy can't die, so...
Yeah. Oh shit, what was I gonna say? I don't know. Whatever.
Sorry, I interrupted you with my burn.
No, well, I remember now. Yeah, no, it was just sort of like the identities of escorts, right? The Defiant's all about cannons, and the Akira's all about torpedoes. So one of the things we kicked around early on was like, what if we made the Saber an escort that was all about beams? And so I think that might be one of the reasons that trait buffs beam overload is that's sort of where we started the discussion. But I don't know. I don't make the final systems design for the ship, so I'm not sure how much of that survived through to the final version.
So Edric V pointed out rightly that I missed the console. So this is the console right here, folks. You can look at the stats. This gives you a little bit of a cloaky kind of thing, and then you get a bunch of haste and beam damage and some other stuff. So
yeah, this is based on... This is actually a reference to the novels as well. There was an incident where the USS Davinci actually hid a whole planet. They hid a whole entire planet called the Troyes. They hid that from the Borg, and so we decided to take inspiration from that for the console here, and I think that's kind of fun.
That's awesome. All right, well, since we've been talking about her a lot, let's take her into combat and see how well I did setting her up. Always a nice treat when the warp out animation works. Jimmy Putt says beams don't need any more damage. You're probably right, but we're going to give him more damage anyway. Kel MG, we don't have any new news for Dilex this week, but buying account unlocked Starship traits would be very similar to the Shields in that it's not a long-term solution. It's a one-and-done kind of buy, so we need more. We need something that's more repeatable than that. People who are asking in chat who missed the title of the stream, I guess, but these are both Zensor ships. They will also be available in a bundle together. They'll be able to purchase separately, as usual, but they'll also be available in a bundle together if you want to buy that. Oh my god. And the bundle will come with 2 fleet modules and 2 experimental ship upgrades. So that's neat. K1641, we're probably not getting a new faction anytime soon. That's something that takes a butt ton of work. Let me turn down the volume on this. just an absolute butt ton of work, and we just don't really have the resources to do that, and also provide all the other lovely things that we like to provide for you folks. So
Yeah, it's massive.
yeah. Oh, that is just satisfying. I'm gonna need this experimental weapon. I want that on my bird of prey. I don't know. Let me check. Is this thing kinetic damage? Okay, so it's not going to be helped by my phaser buffs.
Right. No, experimental weapons are usually not one of the main damage types.
That makes sense.
We don't want you to feel like you have to use one over the other.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was the rationale there.
Yeah. Chris Astreus Huxley,
You have entered an area controlled.
please don't stop. Please continue talking. Don't continue
Looks like
talking.
our fight got them to notice us.
God, what was I answering? Oh, these will be the usual price for Zen store ships. I believe that is 3,000 Zen. And they will be released next week. Folks who are asking about the Mirror Guardian, I'm sorry, I can't really talk more about the reason that ship had to be delayed. It was a necessity, and that's really all I can say. Oh, you're right. I looked away from the new explosion. Oh,
Yeah, I was about to say we're could get a good look at the new ship damage effects and explosions
Oh, I
too.
love that. All the little explosions on that guy.
Whoa!
Yeah. People were worried that was going to add to the FX spam that we sometimes have to deal with, but it doesn't seem to have. I think it'll fit in nicely with everything else we've got going on.
We will not go quietly.
There's as part of that, I want to toot Ian's horn a little bit. Ian also added a lot more variation to our damage states. So when you get down to like 75% health and 50% health and 25% health, the transition there is a lot more interesting and dynamic. Random things will happen, like the lights in your ship will flicker, and you'll have little explosions, and you might see like a plasma leak, and smoke trails and stuff. So I think the feeling of space combat in general in STO with all this new damage stuff, and he also rebuilt the damage materials themselves, and they look a lot better. So there's a lot to it other than just death effects that's gonna make combat feel just a bit more dynamic.
I agree. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know you were disappointed that the video showed only one state, Thomas. I was not aware of all the extra work he'd done until you were commenting on Twitter.
No, I didn't mean to come across disappointed. I just meant that there was more to see in the game.
Yeah.
If anything, it's a good teaser.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think space combat is obviously how a lot of people spend the majority of their time in STO. So if we can get stuff in there that really does improve the general feeling of that experience, it's definitely worth doing.
So this is the Troyes protocol. It has updated my speed and strength and given me a little bit of a cloak that I seem to be able to fire out of, which is awesome. Just my experimental weapon, though. Alexa,
I wonder if that's
stop.
intentional or not.
Yeah, I don't know if that's intentional. Will console get the same new damage effects? Yes, they will. That's an update to the whole game. Excuse me for 1 second. Have to go ban somebody. Alright. Anyway, back to the game. Someone on Facebook was being a giant jerk.
Boo.
Boo to jerks.
So that Gatling, once it starts shooting, it just won't let go.
I guess until it's dead. That's
That's the thing
description
about
on the
it is I
weapon
think
says
it
doesn't
does
stop.
not change targets until the target you're shooting at is destroyed.
Wow, so much hate.
If I switch to it, yeah. Even if I switch to a different, no, okay. If I switch to a different, it'll spin up again.
Either
Oh no,
that or
because
you
I
just
killed
blew
that
up the
ship.
other.
I killed that
Yep.
ship. Never mind.
Yeah.
Doxabate so says a jerk on Facebook. That's unusual. It's the weirdest thing because people always talk about how the anonymity of the internet is why people are jerks on the internet, but then like on Facebook, people will leave the worst comments and like I can find your mom. I can tell her about you.
This is like in magic. Names have power.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I know your name, I own.
At Assault says he wonders how the weapon works on targets that go friendly at low health. The way the power tooltip is worded is it's fires until it's no longer a valid target. So I would assume that means becoming friendly as well. I don't know that for sure, but that makes sense to me.
Apparently, this Kson guys should have stayed home today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Get a
for
haircut.
sure.
Get a haircut or something.
Get a haircut.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Look at that! Look at that thing. Is that like a?
need to get a haircut.
It's a 360. It's like a.
Yeah, it's experimental.
thread?
Experimental weapons are usually 360 like that.
Yeah, bro.
They were
Yeah.
added to the game to kind of increase viability of escorts because escorts typically, because they had cannon, like dual cannons and heavy cannons, they actually had fewer weapon slots than cruisers, and people in the beam. I'm vaguely. This was a long ass time ago, so.
You can say the beam mafia. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I think at the time the meta was just 4-4 beams, because you could have, it was easy to have all 8 beams on a target in a cruiser, broadsiding, and so to make escorts more viable,
We added experimental weapons.
yeah, we wanted to, and to give them a unique mechanic like science ships had. Secondary deflectors and cruisers have their command auras. And so it was something also to make escorts special as a class.
Yeah. You can use this experimental weapon on all ships. You just have to get the saber to get it. So,
Yeah, that's right.
So buy the ship, use the weapon.
Wow.
That's just so much fun to watch. Brrr. Ships go brrr. This actually would be really great on my cannon build ship, because usually when I'm turned away, I've got a lot less damage coming out, but this thing will just not let it go.
It's just going full expanse right here.
Since it's got kinetic damage, I wonder how good this would be on a torp boat. I'm sure Augie will tell us. Someone was asking about the Mirror Runabout that was a charity ship a few years ago. This is the first I've ever heard of it, so it's probably before my time. I will ask about it. I know the Mirror Guardian getting into the store was because one of our producers remembered its existence and was like, hey, what if we sold that?
Yeah, and it's timely with
the mirror stuff.
all the mirror stuff for sure.
Yeah. I also, I would like commendations from both chat and from YouTube, because we were talking about finding people's moms on Facebook, and I didn't make any of the obvious jokes.
Congrats! Like, good work.
Thanks, buddy.
Well done.
Oh my god.
Gray Spectre 2200 says the Mirror
Look at
Runabout
that.
is their last 1% bastion.
Look at those.
Plans for more shuttle content in the future. Shuttle content, like PvP and a few other things in game, is one of those snakes eating its own tail that we got into, where it wasn't super popular, so we didn't make much. So it wasn't super popular, so we didn't make much, etc., etc. Spinning off into eternity, and unfortunately, that's left us with it isn't super popular, so we probably won't make much shuttle content. But you know,
I saw the
the
old one.
Yeah, the old one. Have you not seen the old one?
Is that already?
Yeah, the Halloween event is out.
I have to check it out.
It's great. It's really, really cool. Poor Hector is always in his dark cave.
Oh no, I just produced and I like the actors. Have you seen the movie? No, I haven't. Not yet. I'm making another movie.
Captain B Money says I can find his mom, but she's never on, and I just talk about how much he spent playing STO. I would never tattle on your mother to how much you've spent playing our game. Now, if you spent a lot on the Old Republic, I'll tell her that. CPU Green Brother was asking about revamping the shuttles themselves. Maybe. The thing with shuttles is, and this is sort of the internal logic. Everyone needs to see this sleeping cat. This is sort of the internal logic that I've heard a few times, is that it really is a not great feeling to suddenly be in a smaller version of your ship with less cool stuff. So, we'll see, but I didn't have time to grab fan art this week. Sorry, guys. There was a meeting about a thing y'all will really like, but it went until like 4:15, so I was running out of time. Let's see. Koneko Kimigawa. I think you're talking about the experimental weapon, which comes with this ship. It is a you can buy the ship to get it and put it on any escort that has an experimental weapon shop. It's always a possibility that the old episodes will be brought back into the game. We are currently working on some stuff like that, so we'll see. All right. So, folks, if you have any other questions about ship art, we could have our lovely ship artists and concept artists here answer that. If you have only questions about when things will happen, I will have to push you out of the airlock by ending the stream.
So I saw the old one. Oh my god.
With the experimental weapon firing like that, what traits buff it? It's a kinetic weapon, so I imagine things that buff those will buff it. Oh, yeah, just press your head into my hand, Silky. Okay, I will scratch you. Let's see. Any thoughts on setting up a 32nd century ship design with more multi-vector ships like the Prometheus? Thomas, thoughts on ships that combine to form a Megazord?
I don't know, what's the Voltron catchphrase?
And I'll form the head?
I'll form the head?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think, we'll wait to see what they do. That is... We're doing some discovery stuff that is gonna be pretty interesting and complex. And who knows, we might do a saucer sep ship for 32nd century in the future, but I think the problem is that it's almost too obvious with the all the floating pieces.
Yeah.
It's like the Kirk, right? It's like, well, the saucer floats, and it's like, oh, we can make it saucer separate. It's like, yeah, you could do that with any of these ships.
Yeah, I kind of feel like saucer separation in the 32nd century too would be like it separates, goes through a quantum wormhole, goes back in time, and like changes the past or something like that. Like it's got to be more complicated.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think we're. I've kind of shied away from it because it is, it takes a lot of effort from a lot of teams to do that. We have a lot, between systems and ship art and animation and effects, like it actually, saucer separation is like kind of a huge undertaking. And so I kind of want to save that time for when when it's required by canon. Because that, we're taking time from a lot of different disciplines to do that. So I don't want to just keep throwing it around. And obviously the more we do it, the less special it is too. So we don't necessarily just want to like, every time something like that comes up, it's like, oh, we'll do another saucer separate.
Yeah. This is a question was asked by both Q Cullen and David L. Roberts for both of you, but I'll start with Hector. Hector, have you seen the USS Protostar from Prodigy, and what do you think of the new ship?
You know what? I haven't.
I didn't think so. It's hard to find new pictures in your cave. Hold on, I will send you one.
Let me see.
Thomas, you can tell us what you think of it while I'm looking it up for Hector.
It's cool. I mean, it's another new, very small starship, Star Trek ship, and then the Franklin from Star Trek Beyond was very small. The Protostar looks to be about that size or smaller. Book ship is very small. They're doing a lot of these ships that are designed for a crew of 6 or 7 people or whatever, which coincidentally is the size of a cast of a TV show. So I think it looks cool. It definitely feels like it fits in around that era of 2380 whatever when Prodigy is set.
Yeah.
It's got the and I think it has a little bit of the JJ universe DNA in it too, within the cells and the struts and how all that works together. The proportions feel very Abrams universe, Kelvin timeline. But I like it, and the animation stuff it's doing is really interesting. I'm curious to see more about how that works. And that is, I mean, talk about something that, if we ever add that to STO, that will take a lot of effort from a lot of people to get that right. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's coming out tomorrow. So we'll get to see it soon enough.
Now I remember it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What do you think, Hector?
Now I remember it. I mean, when I saw that thing popping out in the trailer, was that looks amazing. I don't know how that works. I don't know where the people are supposed to go, but that looks great. And now I need to know what it is good for. That's the catch right here. I need to know what exactly how does that work. But as Thomas said, he has a lot of JJ's DNA. I can see from the nasals and how things work. So this ship almost, when I saw it, I was like, this is perfect for a video game because it has moving parts. It has transformation. It has superpowers hidden inside. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It looks fast. I give it that.
Yeah.
A
couple of people were also asking what y'all thought of the new Excelsior from Excelsior from Lower Decks.
Yeah, it looked cool. I really liked that Sonia Gomez was the captain of that ship.
Yeah, that was cool.
She's a great, she was really fun in early TNG, and it's cool to see her character back. And I think they got the actual actress to do her voice, which was also cool. But the Obina class is what it's called.
And still drinking her hot chocolate. It's never confirmed,
right, yeah.
But, it's got
it's unfortunately, I'm pretty sure it's a lot bigger than an Excelsior class, so it's not. We couldn't have it swap parts with our Excelsior. It couldn't be on the same skeleton, but it's a good looking ship, and I'd like to add it to STO someday for sure.
Yeah. John WYB wants to know if we can publish this concept art online. If you follow Hector on Twitter, he posts up his concept art all the time once it's announced. So that's a good place to get it. Sandman 797 979.
979.
Sandman 979 on Twitter. I would absolutely love to put together a art of STO book that included some of that stuff. We've talked about that a lot. So maybe we'll get a bug in the ear of CBS's publishing arm and try and get that done.
Let me post it. Let me have it here as soon as we hang up here. I post it.
Sounds good. Christopher Oten says more Eric ships, please. Okay. We like him, so okay. So Throw Me Into Space was wondering if the California class will have the strip the hull ability from season 2 finale of Lower Decks. Mike McMahon kept saying the ship was going to do something incredible, and I guess that was it. That was not what we were expecting, so we'll see what happens with the California class design if and when we have a ship.
I was sort of expecting that, but I think there are certain other people on the team who don't think that's actually would make a good console power. So we'll just have to see. It will be that is another thing that would be require a lot of effort for us to put together, because you have to model the base California class, and then you have to model a skinless version, and then you have to like transition between the two somehow. And I think there are like easier ways to do it and harder ways to do it, but at the end of the day, it's just like, holy crap. That's just a really
lot. I mean, we have the section
nightmare to get that to work.
We have the Section 31 ship that we kind of did that with, but that was a technical nightmare to get that to work. So
yep, exactly. And this might, in some ways this would be easier in terms of we wouldn't have to like match things. We wouldn't have to match the dissolve against, pets flying up and everything. It'd all be one effect. But the problem is then you still have to build the skinless material and all the tubes and parts and stuff like that. So
people are now asking for a skinless material Vanity Shield. So
yeah. That is something we could do. That wouldn't be too hard to make that, but it all sorts of depends on like how much. If we did that, how faithful would CBS expect us to be to like, well, this specific pipe, was in this specific place,
and then if you use it on another ship, like if you use it on a Klingon ship, would it look like Federation innards, and would that annoy everybody?
Right. Well, I just mean on the Cerritos, right? Like if we did the skinless thing as a material, then where the pipes are is going to be kind of random and not necessarily match up exactly where they were in the show. And so if that's important to CBS, then we couldn't do it that way. We'd have to find another way to do it. So it'll be tricky if we decide to do it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I have given a lot of thought to it.
Beowulf, but with a 13, says they want a skinless material ground Vanity Shield for next Halloween. That's horrifying.
Oh, yeah, not my department.
Kaneko Kimigawa wants to know, is CBS very picky on ship designs you do from shows? That depends on the shows these days, right? Thomas?
Yeah, I think Lower Decks, they've been the most particular about, because we're translating something from the cartoon style to, say, quasi-realistic STO style. But they haven't really ever had any problems with anything we've done for Discovery, because it's a live action show, and we can port that into STO pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward comparatively.
Just recreate what you saw on screen as opposed to all the style that Lower Decks has.
Right. As opposed to like reinterpret what you saw.
Yeah.
To match the style of the game.
Yeah.
Exactly. Augie just keeps shouting Legendary Akira Command Workship, and I don't know what that's about. Are you requesting a ship, Augie? What's happening? Why does this camera keep bending like that? Anyway, yes, this is Silk. Say hello, Silk. All right. Folks, we can't talk about upcoming ships. Stop requesting upcoming ships. You're just making me read things, and that means more time in between interesting questions. Let's see. Section 31 Kale Kitty class. There we go. People are asking for a Jaeger class. I think that ship is pretty. I know some people don't like it.
I know the guy, the Space Doc YouTube channel has a hashtag Jaeger in STO.
Oh, really?
Dan really wants us to put it in STO.
I don't like that ship. I'm the only one I know.
I don't like it, but the problem. So it's actually, we could make the art, but like pitching Al to spend the 2 weeks of systems time and the week of effects time to actually make it do something in the game, that's a whole other ball of wax.
Yeah. Basically, to get anything in the game, you have to convince Thomas and Al.
You have to, and more people. You have to convince. Well, you have to convince. You don't have to convince me, really. Like nobody.
If it's a ship, you do.
Well, I mean, like, but I can be overruled. You know what I mean? The final say really is our executive producer, and so you really have to sort of pitch to him, our lead producer, and who cares about timeline, how long will it take, who will it take to make it, and Al, our design director, and then and Bill, our art director, they all sort of have, I think, veto power, as it were. Usually they're fine to delegate a lot of those decisions and suggestions to me.
Yeah.
Al has a lot of input on it. He's very hands-on with it, but everybody else is sort of like, as long as you think this is something people actually want, we're fine making it. So,
Yeah.
so as that relates to the Jaeger,
unless it's something that both of you hate,
right?
then it will never happen, no matter how many people
Right.
want it.
Yeah.
Making this ship is super expensive.
It is. It is. It's the most expensive thing we do,
It's
but it's also
insane.
something that we focus the most resources on, which is why we pump them
Yeah.
out so often. Pump them out
Yeah.
is the wrong set of word for the artistry that y'all do. Sorry.
Look at that.
It's impressive how many we do a year, for sure. I mean, like,
Oh my
Yeah.
god, it is.
It is.
The ones and that's the one that people can't see. They don't see the sketches, the countless 3D blockings and revisions.
Yes.
And let's go back to the drawing board right now. We're on that. We're on the drawing board again with one.
Fragrance-free
How many years
Vaseline.
ago?
Fragrance-free Vaseline. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to come to Star Trek Mission Chicago, and if Al is there, I want you to find him and convince him there to get you a whale probe. That'll work. That won't make anyone never want to put a whale probe in the game ever.
Indeed.
All right. Well, folks, thank you all so much for coming. I'm going to find us somebody to raid. But it has been a pleasure chatting with you two gentlemen, as always. Thanks for coming on.
I was a blessing. I was the best.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what's
Sorry.
going on?
No, it's always great to be on stream and talk ships, and I'm really excited that we finally are getting these out to everybody. You know, we've been planning these for a while, so it's good to get them in players' hands.
An eagle-eyed viewer noticed that the concept art was dated December 2020. So
Yep, that's about right.
it's been a while. All right, I'm waiting for this ad to end so I can see if this streamer I've never heard of before is interesting. I like everything about their description, but I want to
December
make sure
2020, but it started in November actually.
Mhm.
I can see it from here then.
Yeah, I think we took a little while on that one.
Then we're gonna do some operations. We're gonna be doing Duxon tonight.
All right, this sounds. They seem like. She seems like awesome. Here we go. I will begin the raid, and I will say thank you all in chat for joining. It has been a pleasure, as always. It has been an honor. It has been a other thing and another thing. I'm very tired. My daughter is no longer in a crib. She's in a big girl bed, and she knows how to open the door to her room. So when she wants us to get up, we're getting up. All right. I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Yep. Have a good night, everybody.